Well, earlier this year we hit the ore body and we had the wonderful pleasure of finding this material here, high-grade copper ore, some 10 to 15% copper in this, and you may be able to see the beautiful yellow copper mineral chalcopyrite. That material we could find it beneath our feet, around us in the walls and above us, and it's an amazing experience to see so much high-grade ore in the mine. Now, it's not all going to be like that, but what it does is it bodes very well for the mine performing as predicted. The planned grade for the mine is somewhere around 1.5%, 1.6%, so to get material all round about you, above, below, round about, feet, all sparkling high-grade ore is very exciting. So we're very confident that the mine will perform, but it's early days and it will take until something like September this year before we reach the planned rate of production. As investors may recall, we purchased an old processing plant and refurbished it. Well, that refurbishment was completed on time, on budget, and the mill is now in commissioning on that initial development ore. We're very pleased to know that we are now making concentrates for sale, copper gold concentrates for sale, and we've shipped our first concentrates to the Boliden smelter on the coast in Finland, and tomorrow we will receive our first revenues from Boliden. So the very first revenues some 2 years after pressing the button and starting the project, so it's a very big day. We expect the mine to reach break-even around the third quarter, September, October this year. A very important milestone for us, and if copper prices stay elevated as they are at the moment, the mine will be very profitable indeed. The important next steps in Finland are to get the whole project to design throughput, which will occur about September, October this year, which also coincides with the project reaching break-even, i.e. making money. We have some major expenditure after that. We continue to develop the spiralling decline tunnel down to the bottom of the mine for another 2 years. But from there on in, the mine starts to make quite a lot of money, and if copper prices stay elevated, we'll all do very well. We're looking at options to expand both mine and mill, but one step at a time. We'll get the project working, then we'll look to grow it. Roseby is a very large copper project near Mount Isa in Australia. It's been raining, as it does every year, and it's been a very, very wet year in Australia. So consequently, this time of year, there's not much activity in the field. During this last 3 months or so, we've been working on completing a feasibility study on one project at Roseby called Little Eva. Little Eva is not that little. When Altona started working the project, it was a 30 million tonne deposit. It's now a 100 million tonne deposit. And what we're looking at doing in the feasibility study is a project that will produce some 6 million tonne a year of ore to give us 34,000 tonnes of copper and around 15,000 ounces of gold. And to make that into more familiar terms, if that was a gold mine, that would be something like 180 to 200,000 ounces of gold. So a substantial project. That study is expected to be completed very shortly and will be published and released to market in April. Roseby is quite unique because it's quite a large resource, some 1.3 million tonnes of copper. It has the ability to be expanded beyond that initial stage of 34,000 tonnes of copper a year, up towards 50 or 60,000 tonnes of copper a year. If Altona can achieve that production both from Finland and from Queensland, it will be a genuine mid-tier miner and one that's known all around the world. One other thing that many people are interested about with Roseby is the option which Xstrata hold to purchase 51% of the project. That option expires June 30th this year, so in some 14 weeks. We have no advice from Xstrata one way or the other whether they will or will not exercise that. So many commentators in Australia are looking at Altona as the current market capitalisation of the company is around $150 million. For that, that's a reasonable valuation for Outokumpu. Roseby is free. Not only is that very large amount of copper free, but they have this optionality of the participation of a very large international miner. The challenge for Roseby is that it's a very large project. It's going to require financing. We're in the fortunate position that we will have production and cash flow from Finland. So unlike many of our peers who are single project junior companies, we have a much better asset base to build on to go forth financing. How we will finance the project, not yet clear, but we will test markets such as bonds, off-taker finance. Many smelters in China are very hungry for feed and are willing to participate in the project, and perhaps look at some of the larger miners whether they wish to partner with us. That will take some time, but we hope to make a decision to proceed sometime in the second half of this year. When the rain stops in Queensland, we will be back into the field. We're going to attempt three things this field season. The first is to go to the known resources and grow those. There's significant potential to grow the resources by another 40 or 50%. Indeed, there's a number of resource estimates that are underway based on last year's drilling, which are still pending. We're also going to go to some targets very close to where the proposed mill is and test those to see whether we have potentially new resources. Then in the wider 1,700 square kilometres of ground, we'll be doing initial grassroots exploration to get hopefully a very active and news-rich programme happening during the year.